Hey everybody, it's Salt from Pokemon Go Radio, the place for everything Pokemon Go. And today we got to talk about something serious, something controversial, something that is bothering trainers out there everywhere. Talking about this mustache. Look at it. No, we are going to talk about something else that looks evil, but actually is not. Today we're talking about Shadow Lugia and the controversy surrounding this decision. We got a lot to get into today, but if you like this content, make sure to like and subscribe and ding the notification bell. Support us here on YouTube. We've got new shows that come out every single Monday here on the channel and wherever you can find podcasts. And we also like to do fun other videos like this, whether it be about PvP or something that's really topical. So definitely subscribe so you can stay tuned for all that. Today we're going to be talking about Gale of Darkness, Dark Lugia, Original Shadow Lugia, whatever you want to call it, and the sprite that is actually the one in the game, the Lugia with the shadow cloud around it. There's a lot to discuss about this, and I know there's a lot of strong opinions out there on the internet. But before we get into it, I do want to make a couple caveats. Number one, we don't know that this was Niantic's decision. Okay, the Pokemon Company controls and exercises a massive amount of influence about this IP, and Niantic is just a developer that's working in there. So it is 100% possible that the decision to use this sprite and not use the other one could be the Pokemon Company telling Niantic, and if that is the case, we're never really going to know. And I'm not here to assign blame. I don't really care whose decision this was. It's not about pointing at a specific person and being like, you did wrong. That's not really the point. The point is, though, this decision was made somewhere, and I do think that's worth discussing. Number two, and we will circle back to this doesn't mean that Shadow Lugia or Dark Lugia or Gale of Darkness Lugia is never going to come to the game, okay? It just means that it's not happening right now. So I do want to make sure that we level that bubble before we get into it today. What is this controversy? Well, it circles around the Dark or Gale of Darkness form Lugia that originally appeared in the 2005 Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. I'll put the two up on the screen real quick for you to see. So you've got regular Shadow Lugia, and then you have Gale of Darkness Lugia. And the Gale of Darkness Lugia, or the Dark Lugia, is the one we're going to talk about. That game, Gale of Darkness, like I said, came out in 2005 and was a sequel to Pokemon Colosseum, where Shadow Pokemon originally came from. In this game, it's set 5 years after the event of Pokemon Colosseum, and you play as a hero who goes around rescuing Shadow Pokemon from the evil Team Cypher. And your whole point is to rescue and purify these Pokemon to sort of bring them back into the fold. If you never got a chance to play this game, I strongly recommend it. It was something that was really cool. I think Nar and I played it in like 2006. We actually had to borrow a GameCube to be able to do it. And this was one of those games where it really gave me hope that the Pokemon Company was investing and looking at different types of games that were a little bit more adult in theme, more tactically focused. There was a lot going on here. There were Shadow Pokemon, moves, different tactical battles with 2-on-2 fights. Sadly, over the last 16 years, that's not the direction the Pokemon Company decided to go. But that's a different video and a different topic. As far as Shadow Lugia is concerned, this is where that Pokemon came from. A huge part of this game's marketing was this cover art. Seeing this Dark Lugia, as we called it back in the day, on that cover and saying like, oh wow, what is this? This is so cool. I really like this. It was everywhere. I remember, like I said, this game came out in 2005. It was like 6 to 7 years after the initial Pokemon craze hit the United States, and we were in high school at the time. And a lot of people had moved on from Pokemon, but even then, amongst those people that remember when Lugia and Gen 2 first came out, this Pokemon just popped. People were really excited about it, and they plastered this Pokemon everywhere. It was on commercials, it was on toys, everywhere. This Pokemon just seeped into the culture in a way that we just didn't see in the mid-2000s like that, and it became a staple and really popular for a lot of people out there, including me. So understand that this, while it might just look like a Pokemon, is something that was really important to a lot of people that grew up in this era of Pokemon. And that's when we get to Pokemon Go. Fast forward a couple years, and we're sitting and we're looking at the data mining coming out, and it's all about Shadow Lugia being introduced into the code. And the debate started. Were we going to get the Gale of Darkness form Lugia, or are we going to get what we're used to, which is a legendary form with some shadow clouds around it? We speculated and we speculated, and a lot of trainers, including ourselves, were really hopeful that Niantic was going to end up going with and putting the Gale of Darkness form Lugia into the game. And obviously, if you have opened the internet at any point in the last couple days, you know that that was not the case. Shadow Lugia went live on the 9th of November, and I'll go ahead and put it up on my screen right here. You can see this is my Shadow Lugia. I'll scroll down so you can see. I actually grinded out the event within the first couple hours of it being live. I was able to defeat Giovanni, and I was able to capture my Shadow Lugia. I really wanted to do that because I wanted to make sure I had my own Shadow Lugia before I waded into the internet and spoke into a microphone and said, "This is what I think about this." But now that I've done it, I have some thoughts, and I did want to share them because I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed with this. I was really hoping, I was one of those people that was like, nope, this is going to be a great opportunity for this cool Gale of Darkness form Lugia to come into the game, and it's going to spur a lot of excitement for people. And this is something that we're either going to go really hard for, we're going to get multiple cracks at, because it's such an iconic Pokemon. Like, look how cool this Pokemon is. I can't help but want to chase it. It just evokes like the coolest aspects of what a legendary Pokemon can be. And it just took me back to those days in 2005 where you're like, what is this Pokemon? It's just so interesting. And I'm going to be honest, I thought a lot more of the community was going to be there in line with my thinking. We put up a Twitter poll, which, as you know, is the most scientific way to poll people across the known universe. Don't come at me. Don't mention me. It's fact. But I did want to sample our Twitter followers, our listeners, to see what people thought about this. And like I said, I was really expecting a lot of people to come out pretty strongly against this decision, but that's not the case. Of our respondents, we had 3 choices. There was, "This is fine," "They should have waited," and then "Show me the answers, nerd." And it broke down. 38% of respondents said, "This is fine. Like, there's no issue here." The second highest at 37%, so a virtual tie with "This is fine," was "They should have waited," and then 25% at the end was "Show me the answers, nerd." I was a bit taken aback. I was not expecting that. Like I said, I thought that more people who played Go, or at least the ones that were surveyed on Twitter from us, would have stronger feelings and backlash towards this decision to put not the Gale of Darkness form Lugia in the game, but that just wasn't the case. And I think a lot of times it's kind of useful to check ourselves when we want to create and like turn up the "I'm mad" machine to think like, well, is this a me thing? Is this an everybody thing? Where are people at on this? And I got to tell you, it was not the way I thought it was going to go. Ultimately, though, as far as my opinions on this, like I do understand, and I don't 100% know why that particular day and that particular sample size, the views came out that direction. You know, there's a lot of factors that could contribute. Maybe people just, you know, it's whatever, it's fine. Maybe people didn't grow up playing Pokemon in the early 2000s. Maybe they're new into Pokemon Go. Maybe they just don't care about the form at all, and they're way more concerned with the next community day or PvP. Those are all possible reasons. But for my personal take, I gotta say, I'm disappointed. I feel like this was a shortcut. I feel like we've been catching shadow legendaries for years now, and just sprinkling some shadow clouds around a legendary Pokemon just doesn't make my socks roll up and down. It's just not exciting. The original summit of beating Giovanni and getting to that legendary reward just kind of fell flat, especially when I knew potentially what we could have had, and that made it a little bit harder for me. But I recognize that's not the view of everyone, but just go with me on this. And again, there's some discussion about the gamification in Shadows, but just imagine if you could get the Gale of Darkness form Lugia in raids. Like, I don't know about everybody, but I feel confident in saying for a significant portion of the player base, this would have been grind city. I know that the Pokemon Go Radio Discord would have been super active. I would have done dozens and dozens of these raids because this Pokemon is so iconic. When you see it at the top of the gym, you just can't help but want to catch it, want to get the right stats. It's just so flippin' cool, and you just want it. And I would be more than happy to raid for it. I really feel like that, and I've been playing Pokemon Go since 2016, July. The first show came out like the week after the game was launched. I got to tell you, though, even if it was just doing the same thing, beating the leaders, then beating Giovanni, and then having Gale of Darkness form Lugia pop out, I think easily top 10, maybe top 5 moments for me personally in Pokemon Go ever when I caught my first Gale of Darkness Lugia. If that chain of events had happened, it would have been a seminal event in my Pokemon Go playing experience. because I do have such a strong and emotional connection to Gale of Darkness Lugia. I can remember sitting on the floor of one of my houses in 2006, just where we grew up, and playing that GameCube that we borrowed from a friend with my brother. And I think that I'm not alone in that. I think a lot of people have a strong connection to this form. And I think more than anything, that's a discussion we can move towards the future. Like we said at the top of the video, this doesn't mean that Gale of Darkness Lugia is never coming to Pokemon Go. It could, it just feels a lot less likely as we're sitting here today. It feels like maybe this is something that we're just going to settle for, and I really hope that's not the case. I really hope that the introduction of this type of Shadow Lugia into the game spurs forth the discussion and encourages Niantic that, hey, this Pokemon is so cool, is so unique, that they could use it to invest in a new system and put this Pokemon as the poster Pokemon for that new feature, whether it's a new Rocket feature or a new way to capture Pokemon or a new way to interact with Team Rocket in general. I really do think it would be worth the investment, and you would get people to buy in because they want this Pokemon. Just putting it out there in the marketing alone, I really do believe would do wonders for it. That's what I think. That's what I think about the whole Lugia controversy, if that's what you want to call it. But what do you think? Let me know in the comment section below this video. I guarantee you, Nara and I are going to be talking about this a lot on episode 265 on Monday. And I don't want to just repeat what I think in this video. I want to know what you think. And I'm only going to know that if you leave it in the comment section below. Nara and I really like to aggregate as much feedback from the community writ large as we possibly can, because we're just two dudes, like we're just two guys that have very similar experience or a very similar age. But where are you at? Where is your Pokemon journey and this Lugia concerned? Do you wish it would come? Do you need it to come? Is it a nice to have? Where are you at? Let us know, because I want to make sure on the next show that we're accurately representing as much of the community as possible. Other than that, I hope that you encourage in your local Discords and in wherever you talk about Pokemon Go, that if this is something that you're interested in, you let Niantic know. You're tweeting at them, you're talking about it. They do monitor and know those things on the Reddit, on Twitter, all of those things. And if this is something that the player base or a large portion of the player base feels passionate about, I do think this is something we could potentially get in the future. But if we're not asking for it, we're never going to get it, and then we can't really be surprised. Thank you so much for sticking with us and listening about some obviously pretty passionate thoughts I have about this Pokemon. It is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. I just think it's awesome. I think it's so cool, and I really do hope it makes its way into Pokemon Go in the future. If you like the show and you like the content, please make sure to leave a like, leave a subscribe, and then comment your thoughts below. And then we've got new shows that come out on this channel and wherever you find podcasts every Monday at 3 Eastern for the YouTube channel. You can find that. You can also find additional videos like this here as well. If you got something that you want to see, let us know about it. Really like making the videos. Really, really thank you for stopping by. And in the meantime, go freaking catch 'em all.